Top English slang words in the US and which region uses them the most? Aw, he tweaking. So the word tweaking actually stretches all the way through the Mississippi, straight up to Chicago, all the way down to Louisiana, and it's also pretty well spread out through the deep south and all the way up to Virginia. I use the word tweaking, but it doesn't compare here to California. Obviously, we use the word, but not quite to the same extent as this region. Next up, we got wicked. Of course, that's just New England. Wicked, God. That's the only thing I could think of. I feel like the context of these states using the word wicked is quite different. I can only hear it with like the Bostonian accent. Next up, homies. I actually had no idea that homies isn't just like thoroughly used throughout the states. Apparently, you guys don't like the word homies quite as much. It's mainly a California thing, which is probably why I say it in videos. I thought it was like so popular now to say. Georgia's pretty high with their rate of homies, so is South Carolina, so is North Carolina, even Virginia. And then it really drops off in the New England area, Northeast, the Midwest, but it stretches pretty high up. I think this map shows why I'm a little surprised, because this whole region is big homie lovers. That sounds a little strange. Ah, shoddy. And it's literally just the deep south, but it does stretch all the way up to New York. A big part is New Jersey. We definitely use shoddy in California. Maybe not to the same extent. I've never used it. In fact, that's probably the first time I've ever said shoddy. There's no way it's that deep of blue. Like, the shoddy is a pretty big word. It's been around for a minute. Where there's shoddy and now there's shorty. That's also just kind of big. It's used up here. Wow. Look at the difference. Like, the more north you go, the more they're likely to say shorty. Wow. Also, a lot less dark blue. We're more of a shorty. Look at the panhandle of Oklahoma. Look at this weird encirclement of shorty. The word finna. I'm finna crash out. When are we gonna get a map for crash out? That's a term I've seen people use more and more here in California. For some reason, finna is not stretching all the way down through Florida. It's only in the north. It's only in like the deep south, weirdly. I guess there's like some light blue here in California. I've definitely heard a lot of finna. Now, this isn't dog. This is dog. So I think that's kind of the difference. Wow, Michigan. And just this region of Michigan, really. Again, stretching out of the deep south. Seems like the deep south is like the cultural spawn point for so much of this stuff, for so much of the English language. All right, well, who's not using this word in 2025? This usage is so rampant. I feel like this map doesn't even do it justice. How often are they saying the word cringe in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont? Is every other sentence, does it have the word cringe? Because I'd be surprised. How could you beat out so many of these other states? I say cringe probably at least once a day. I'm cringe. You know, I hate to admit it, but I've been using hella more and more. That word has been around for a while, and for the longest time, actually for my whole life, I've refused to use it. I feel like there's been a revamp of the word hella now, maybe because it does stretch all the way to Missouri and Illinois. I feel like hella doesn't have the same connotation as it did definitely 15 years ago. Honestly, I don't even know what this word is. Maybe that's because I'm old. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I actually stopped saying tight. I feel like I barely hear this anymore. There are still pockets that are tight, not quite as much though. Finally, a more recent slang term, dead ass. And apparently dead ass is, well, it's dead ass only being used in the Northeast. Is this where it started from? Is it just here that likes it? I mean, I think a lot of people are using it now. Light blue shows that everyone's kind of using it, but y'all are really using it.